Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas. Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Tonight it's Game 2 of this three-game weekend series. The Astros meet the Arizona Diamondbacks. Good evening, everybody. Bill Brown and Alan Ashby. Julia Morales joins us in just a few moments to see the second game of this series. In 10 innings last night, Arizona won it 6-4. The Astros haven't lost a home series in a long time, Ash.
They played great baseball at home. They've obviously strung together a terrific season with that record best in the American League. And it's been really exciting, I think, for all of the fans to be able to come out here and see the Astros play that way at home.
In July, the Astros won 12 and lost 12. They've had good months prior to that, no losing months for the season. Let's look at some individual performers for the month, Ash.
These are some of the reasons they have played well. Top of the order, Jose Altuve. He's led the team in runs scored and RBIs over that month of July. A little surprising for me with the way Carlos Correa has played. But Altuve continues to be strong at the top. Carlos Correa in the 3 spot has been magnificent. But we take a peek at Altuve. Had the game-winning home run. That was one of the truly exciting moments of the year, along with the Jason Castro game winner. Carlos Correa, opposite field. It doesn't seem to matter to this young shortstop. He can drive it all over the place. 10 home runs for Correa, 10 for Preston Tucker. And you see the slash line hitting .314 in that month of July. These guys have been really good, and the youngsters are leading this club.
Coming up, Gold Rush. The Astros are filthy rich in young talent and the confidence that goes with it. But the Diamondbacks have won 6 in a row and are setting their sights on a rush to the NL wildcard. Which team will strike gold tonight? The game is coming up.
Some crazy great fans. We're trying to see if Dallas can bounce back from what was an uncharacteristic outing for him against the Kansas City Royals, giving up a few runs on the road. But at home, he settles in really nicely here at Minute Maid Park. He's undefeated so far this year. 3-0, though, in his last 3 starts here at this ballpark. No runs allowed. Pretty impressive stuff. Scoreless in each of those. That's a total of 24 innings for him, too. Also going very deep into games. That's also coincidentally when Keuchel's corner debuted 3 starts ago. Good stuff there. Tonight, though, the Astros need a Keuchel-like performance, especially with a beat-up bullpen. So to see him continue that streak of going 6+ innings would be great for the Houston Astros tonight. Guys, up in the booth, I've got a crazy group down here that are looking forward to another Keuchel performance. Up to you.
That looks like the place to be. All that orange, all that hair. And all that enthusiasm, Ash.
Yeah, I don't know how Julia's going to fit in there. Her beard is just not showing like that at all. But look at Dallas Keuchel. And ready to go again, 9-0 here at Minute Maid Park this season. He's been as good as you can get here, an ERA just above the 1 mark. So obviously the Astros hoping Dallas Keuchel can match those numbers here this evening.
The Toyota drive to the playoffs will show you where we stand right now. There was afternoon baseball out west. The Dodgers beat the Angels 3-1, and the shutout streak extends for Clayton Kershaw to 37 innings in that game. So the Astros lead is currently 2.5 on the Angels. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks are 5.5 back in the wild card race. They're in the tough NL West, competing with the Dodgers and the Giants.
I just don't see that getting a whole lot easier for the Diamondbacks as well as they're playing right now in 6 straight wins. But I think the Mets are going to improve upon what they're doing presently. I think the Pirates are a really good team. And those Giants, they're just uncanny the way they get on a roll and they just keep it going.
As Julia and Ash mentioned, Dallas Keuchel is 9-0 at home. He's the first Astro pitcher ever to start a season 9-0 in his home ballpark and has not given up a run for the last 24 innings. His last 3 home starts have netted 0 runs against this talented left-hander who started the All-Star game.
Another thing he does extremely well, and I think it gets underplayed, is the way when there are men on base, and there haven't been that many this year, he has that consistent little slide step. He makes the running game nearly impossible for an opposition base stealer. They've only stolen 2 in 2 tries against him this year, and it's really the same story the last couple of years for Dallas. He is not going to allow the running game, and he hasn't allowed a home run here at Minute Maid Park this year.
Last time out in Kansas City, he gave up 4 runs in the first inning and allowed 10 hits and 5 runs in 6 2/3. The game started with a bunt single against him, Ash.
You look over the 21 starts, Brownie, the whip of 0.99 this year. Nearly impossible unless you're one of those great pitchers, the Bob Gibson type season. Just to have less than a base runner per inning over the course of a season, you're going to have those moments, those innings where things get away from you. It hasn't happened to Dallas, certainly not here at home.
We got the lineup now for Chip Hale's Arizona Diamondbacks. Ender Inciarte is the leadoff man. He's in center field with Nick Ahmed at shortstop. Paul Goldschmidt is the first baseman. Wellington Castillo, the DH, is the cleanup man. He has homered in his last 3 games. Aaron Hill's at third base with Yasmani Tomas in right field. Jared Saltalamacchia, the catcher. That's 7th, followed by second baseman Chris Owings and left fielder Cliff Pennington. Jeremy Hellickson starting tonight for Arizona. Now it's Keuchel and it's Inciarte. Inciarte 1 for 5 in last night's game. He singled in the 9th inning. Arizona won it in 10, 6-4. Jed Lowry, the third baseman's in tight. And that's a quality strike on the corner. C.B. Buckner, the home plate umpire, rings it up as strike 1 for Keuchel. Keuchel 1-2 lifetime against Arizona with a 4.5 ERA. Now it's 0-2. Diamondbacks banged out 14 hits last night, including back-to-back 10th inning homers by Wellington Castillo and Jake Lamb to win it by 2. That's a check swing, and it's 1-2. They are second in the National League in runs scored with 448, and they're 4th in total bases. Grounded foul. Keuchel has held left-handed batters to a measly 140 batting average.
Yeah, that's really something to me. A lot of times lefties that don't come from the side a la Chris Sale will have left-hand hitters hit them well. But Dallas is dominated.
Grounded and backhanded by Carter. Tossing to Keuchel, 1 out.
Defensively for the Astros tonight, behind Dallas Carter, in the outfield left to right, Preston Tucker, Carlos Gomez, and Colby Rasmus. Left side of the infield is Jed Lowry and Carlos Correa. On the right, Jose Altuve and Chris Carter. Hank Conger gets the assignment behind the plate.
It's 96 degrees outside. Inside, it's Dallas Keuchel versus Nick Ahmed, the 25-year-old shortstop with a .221 average. Ahmed was 0 for 5 in last night's game. He was George Springer's teammate at the University of Connecticut. It's ball 1. Paul Goldschmidt on deck.
Got some slick hands at shortstop.
He's a good-looking player defensively. Ground ball to shortstop. Carlos Correa. 2 outs. The Worms are in trouble when Dallas Keuchel's on the mound.
I think they actually go on vacation for a day or so at that point.
63.9 ground ball percentage, second in the majors. Goldschmidt is really something this year. He's on a 12-game hitting streak right now. Leads the National League at .349. He has 22 homers, 77 runs batted in, .604 slugging percentage. That's second in the National League. And it's ball 1. He's hit in his last 13 games against the Houston Astros. It's 2-0 to Goldschmidt. And last night the Astros worked carefully to him. He had 2 hits and 4 at-bats and drew a walk. That's rolled to third base. Jed Lowry across to Chris Carter. 3 ground ball outs. Start the game for Dallas Keuchel. Brought to you by Southwest.com. Southwest Airlines showing you at second base, Jose Altuve. In center field, Carlos Gomez. The shortstop, Carlos Correa. In left field, it's Preston Tucker, followed by DH Evan Gattis. Third baseman, Jed Lowry. Right fielder, Colby Rasmus. First baseman, Chris Carter. And catcher, Hank Conger.
On the mound for the Diamondbacks, right-hander and 28 years of age, Jeremy Hellickson. Former pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. In fact, he was the Rookie of the Year back in 2011 with the Rays, going 13-10 that year. This year, 7-6, a .460 ERA. He's allowing a few more hits than innings pitched. And he's allowed 14 home runs this year.
He pitched shutout ball for 6 innings in his last start, beating Milwaukee 3-0 on Sunday. 6 innings, 4 hits, no runs for Hellickson. And now it's Jose Altuve getting it started for Houston. Jose had a rare 0 for 5 night last night with 116 hits. He's in the top 10 in the American League with a .298 average. He has 9 homers, 48 driven in. That is strike 1. Hellickson's fastball, as you saw, 90 miles per hour out of the chute. He throws a lot of changeups usually. Ground ball, and there's Ahmed to his right. 1 out.
Defensively for the Diamondbacks this evening in the outfield left to right, Cliff Pennington, Ender Inciarte, and Yasmani Tomas. On the infield left side, Aaron Hill, Nick Ahmed. On the right, it's Chris Owings and Paul Goldschmidt. Jared Saltalamacchia, the veteran, behind the plate.
Carlos Gomez did not come up with a hit in his Astros debut last night. He was 0 for 5. 262 overall as a National Leaguer. 258 now, including the 0 for 5 last night in the American League. Fouls it back. There's strike 1 to the high energy Carlos Gomez. The Astros acquiring him and also a starting pitcher who's due to join the club tomorrow in that deal with Milwaukee. The pitcher is Mike Fiers. He will go into the Astros rotation and pitch Tuesday night in Arlington, Texas against the Rangers. Fouled away on a breaking pitch. It's 0-2, and it'll be probably a one-time only 6-man rotation for A.J. Hinch because of Mike Fiers being added to the staff. In fact, that Fiers has been starting this season. Nobody gets booted out of that rotation. Colin McHugh there on the far left will be starting tomorrow. Scott Feldman started last night's game. That's a little roller out toward the pitcher. Barehanded, and a throw, and a good throw, although somewhat off balance for out number 2.
Got a former Gold Glover there on the hill, and that got rather casual.
Yes, it
After
did.
barehanding, it looked like it just turned into, okay, this is practice time, maybe spring training PFP. Almost threw that one away. Take a look at that play as Hellickson comes on. It's kind of a casual little submarine flip, and if not for Goldschmidt picking it, they got problems.
Yes, they do. But Goldie can do it all, can't he?
Quite a player. He's turned into one of the best in the game.
Carlos Correa on a 5-game hitting streak. Sports a .296 average, 10 homers, 29 runs batted in. No major league shortstop has hit 10 homers in his first 45 games since 1914. That's ball 1. In fact, it's a club record for the Astros by a rookie shortstop in a season, tying Andujar Cedeno's 10 home runs in '91. It's 2-0 to Carlos, and he said his favorite sport other than baseball is boxing. His dad did some boxing, and he really follows that sport.
Must be nice to him, okay?
Okay. He hit a homer last night. Off-speed pitch makes it 2-1.
It's that changeup you mentioned, and that is kind of bread and butter for Jeremy Hellickson.
Batting average against that pitch is .230 this season. He's improved in getting ground balls this year. This one a foul and out of play. 2-2 to Correa.
Let's take a look now at our Super Mo presented by Mattress Firm. That changeup, you see the grip, and then you throw it as hard as you can, and you can see Hellickson really finish it with the hand flipping through. That's what you need to have an effective changeup.
Preston Tucker's on deck. That's out to left field. Carlos Correa sends it high, and Correa has hit number 11. 1-0 Houston.
This kid is amazing. 11 home runs already. And he's making the game at times look easy, and we all know it's not. I think the fans here in Houston have something to look forward to for a long time, but enjoy it right now. You can see the changeup once again. Carlos missed one of them, not this time. You can see he was watching to make sure that thing stayed fair.
That's 30 runs batted in for the talented rookie. Preston Tucker follows. There's strike one. And Tucker, with 10 homers himself, has 28 runs batted in, a .270 average. That's 144 long balls for the major league leading Astros. They hit 2 last night. Fastball comes inside. It's 1-1.
A look at our strike zone presented by MD Anderson. Where was this one? Not a bad location. Probably found more wide of the plate than Hellickson wanted. And I'm not sure it mattered with Carlos Correa once he zeroed in on that speed of the changeup.
Throws it by Tucker, and it's 1-2. For these two rookies back-to-back in the lineup, Correa and Tucker both had outstanding months of July, just about identical numbers for the two of them in July. So they're both going to be drawing votes for American League Rookie of the Month in July. Breaking ball, and that is a strikeout to end it. But the Correa long ball gives the Astros a 1-0 1-inning lead.
Hall of Fame plaque at the Biggio Hall of Fame weekend, presented by Coca-Cola. For more information, visit Astros.com or call 1-877-9-ASTROS today. Fans looking good in their pinstripe jerseys as they've received those. The line to get in this place, guys, was super long, and it was hot outside.
Yeah, we were hearing on various social media. We were reading on social media that those lines were forming about, 2:30 this afternoon. We have a little bit of a delay, Julia. We're not sure about the reason for it.
I have no idea what's going on at home plate. The umpires went out and, or at least one of them did, spoke briefly with Dallas Keuchel. I wasn't sure if they were going to inspect him for something. And then a little chat with Hank Conger. And now it looks like they're looking. Have they got a camera implanted in the dirt there in front of home plate?
Well, I don't know about that, but on that ground ball earlier that Hellickson fielded, hit by Gomez, you can see the ball was dirty when he picked it up. So the dirt around home plate evidently is of concern. They're going to mix in some substance to change the composition of it, it would appear. A little too wet, maybe, Ash?
Yeah, that's my guess. I'm wondering if the Arizona skip and coaching staff didn't say, hey, look, they've gone a little too far with the water in front of the plate. You've got the ground ball pitcher on the mound. We don't like it. We don't want to have it this way. See if you can get this thing fixed up a little bit and make it more normal for a major league game.
Down through the years, it is often a tactic used by a team facing a sinker ball pitcher who gets tons of ground balls. If they feel that that area right in front of home plate has been softened too much by the grounds crew, and that will take the steam out of some of those grounders. Not sure if that was the case, but Dale Scott came over to talk to A.J. Hinch between innings.
Take a peek at this ball coming out of the dirt as hit by Carlos Gomez. Yeah, you can see how muddy that baseball is at that point. And I'm sure Jeremy Hellickson went into the dugout and said, hey, you know, something's amiss here in front of the plate. My concern as a hitter would be, as soft as that dirt is in front of home plate right now, I don't care if it's not wet. It's like trying to hit a ball through a sandbox.
Right. Well, these tactics have been used, of course, not saying that they're being used tonight, but could be what is suspected by Arizona. And that's very much in demand, that area.
Get yourself a Dallas Keuchel shirt, Browning.
Yeah.
The beard.
And the beard, remember?
Yeah, absolutely.
When we wore those, yeah, we got them.
Well, the kids want them, I know that.
Wellington Castillo leads it off, 1-0 Astros. There's ball one to Castillo. 258, 11 homers, 25 runs batted in. Perhaps a little gamesmanship involved there as well, making Keuchel wait. 11 home runs by a torrid hitter. Castillo hit 2 homers earlier this week off King Felix Hernandez of Seattle, and then he bashed one last night. He had 2 other hits and a 3-for-5 night. So he's DHing. Now it's 3-0. So the tactics may have worked. Sometimes a pitcher who's as good as Keuchel will face those tactics by the opposition. Anything to try to throw him off his game. 3-1.
You see that view in the face of Dallas Keuchel, the focus, as he just stares into his chore, that work that he's got in front of him. And it's pure focus at that point.
Fouled away, and it's 3-2.
You can only imagine that he's envisioning exactly where he wants the baseball and trying to see that happen.
He's walked only 34 in 152 innings this season.
And I think it gets frustrating when you've got hitters that don't get in the box and enable the pitcher to get to work.
Struck him out. How about that after falling behind 3-0? First strikeout.
Well, at least Castillo was able to keep it off the ground. That's just maybe even a little cut on that fastball working back. I don't know if he's getting around that thing, but boy, he spots it well down and away.
Aaron Hill's the batter. Taking strike one. Hill playing third base tonight, has a .217 average, 4 homers, 24 runs batted in. Former Toronto Blue Jay takes, and it's 1-1.
Primarily a second baseman over his career. You get to that point of your career where you're thrilled to play anywhere you can.
In the dirt on Hill, 2-1 with the infield shifted around, playing him to pull. Hill is 33 years old, from Visalia, California. He went to LSU and he was a first-round draft choice by Toronto in 2003. 13th player drafted that year. .270 lifetime hitter. Fouled on the breaking pitch, and it's 2-2 to Hill. Jake Lamb, who bats left-handed, was the third base starter last night. Hill is a .357 career hitter against the Astros in 16 games. Beats that one into the ground and stays alive at 2-2. He's a 2-time Silver Slugger Award winner in 09 with Toronto and in 12 with Arizona. In 2012, he hit 26 homers and drove in 85 runs with a .302 average. Has not been able to come close to that since. Off the end of the bat, it goes out of play. What Dallas Keuchel has done this season is go 9-0 at home with a 1.13 ERA in 11 starts.
It's one of those tough start times where you've got the sun and shadow all around the mound and home plate area.
Diving Carter can't prevent it from rolling through into right field. Not a well hit ball, but Hill becomes the first Arizona base runner.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of this here in just the second game now. First and second games of this series. Guys hitting balls through vacated areas.
Right under the mid of Carter. Arizona's a running club with 91 steals. Second in the National League. 5.1 wins above replacement, ranking Dallas Keuchel. Tied for third in the majors among pitchers behind Zach Greinke and Sonny Gray. And tied with Max Scherzer. Scott Kazmir is fifth. Keuchel's ERA is third best in the AL. Kazmir number one. Yasmani Tomas looks at ball one. Tomas, the Cuban-born slugger, has a .301 batting average. Like father, like son.
Got some heavy growth in that family.
In for a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Tomas. He was 2 for 5 with 2 runs batted in last night.
It's an amazing percentage of balls right on the outside edge when Dallas is on his game.
Yeah. Mixed colors.
I'm not sure I see the need right there, but
2 balls and a strike.
Dispelled the myth that redheads can't grow a good black beard.
Just trying to join in the fun, that's all. Off the plate, and it's a 3 ball 1 strike count. Saltalamacchia is on deck.
It's amazing how many ladies get into this whole beard thing.
Tomas takes a walk. Runners at first and second, 1 out now for Saltalamacchia.
If you got James Harden to come over to a ball game, would he feel the need to put that beard on top?
Yeah, he would. Saltalamacchia just came off the 15-day disabled list with a strained left neck, July 27th. 158 for the switch hitter, 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. Sitting .214 as a right-handed batter. Into center field. Here's the go-ahead for the base runner. Gomez with a throw to the plate. And it is a 1-1 game. Saltalamacchia ties it with a single. That's his 6th run batted in, scoring Hill.
Well, it didn't take long for that walk to bite Keuchel. See the 2-seamer trying to catch the outside edge, and he does. Jared Saltalamacchia has had a taste of Dallas Keuchel before. See the hustle and the charge. Gomez does have a good throwing arm, just couldn't keep it on line here.
Now runners at first and second for Chris Owings. After Saltalamacchia has tied it, Owings has driven in 25 this season. That's ball 1 to him, and that ends the streak of 25 innings at home without giving up a run for Keuchel. .232 for Owings with 3 home runs. He was 1 for 5, struck out 4 times last night. Owings takes a look at it, and it's 2-0. Keuchel and tomorrow's Astros starter, Coleman McHugh, are atop the leaderboard with 12 wins in the American League. Bounce wide of first, and it's 2-1. The Astros used 7 pitchers in last night's loss.
You can see where the sun is coming through the glass and hitting that now part of the infield and the right side of the diamond.
Now 3-1 to Owings. Keichel's fallen behind 5 of the last 6. Owings bunts on a 3-1 count, and he fouls it. That's a surprise.
Especially with a man in scoring position at second base.
Tomas at second, Salty at first. This will be the 25th pitch of the inning for Keuchel. Pennington's on deck. Struck him out looking. 2 outs.
Keuchel might have gotten a little extra there on that outside corner. See what C.B. Buckner was dealing with, and yeah, that's a break. There have been some close pitches, some called, some not.
Now with 2 outs, it's the number 9 hitter, Pennington. Cliff with a .238 average has 1 homer, 10 runs batted in. He's in left field tonight. At strike 1 to Pennington. Pennington came into the game last night, put down a sacrifice bunt in his only plate appearance. He was a pinch runner for A.J. Pollock, who had to leave with a hamstring problem. Not thought to be serious. 1-1. Arizona has won 11 of its last 14 games here at Minute Maid Park. Two and 1. D-backs have the lead in the all-time series with Houston, 66-45. And they have won 22 of their last 29 from the Astros. The Astros will finish the season with a 3-game series in Arizona this year. Now 3-1. And Ciarte on deck.
Dallas is really trying to pick at that outside edge, but when you're off just a fraction, you start missing away. The ball runs that direction.
And the walk loads the bases. Second walk of the inning.
Now the jack in the box. Take us inside the box score element as we look at what Dallas Keuchel has done with left-hand batters. In 2015, lefties are really scuffling. And he's just gotten better and better. He's found a way to dominate the lefties. And now a shot to try to get that lefty with the bases loaded in a tie ball game here in the second.
Big early confrontation here as Ciarte bats. He grounded out from Carter to Keuchel. That one goes foul. Keuchel, after giving up 4 runs in the first in his last start at Kansas City, then allowed a home run to Lorenzo Cain before settling down. It's a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
Dallas Keuchel against lefties. You can see with 140 batting average. On base percentage, slugging way down. Dallas, I mean, there's a reason why he's dominating at the level he's dominating at these days in Major League Baseball. But he's getting the lefties, the righties. He's getting out of big jams. He's got a big one presented right now.
2-1 to count. He comes back to create a 2-2 pitch next.
Don't know what the mindset is, but that one side of the plate seems to be where Dallas is focused so far tonight. In on the lefties, away on the righties.
Three and two. Inciarte has walked 9 times this season. He's had 308 at bats. Runners go, and it's a foul ball.
And Dallas continues on that side of the plate.
Inciarte's from Venezuela. Hit 278 last year for Arizona. He's 24 years old.
Look at on that back knee, maybe just above the knee, hard to say, but
runners go, and that's a foul ball.
Dallas, who was trying to come back in there, left one through the heart of the plate.
This will be the 8th pitch to Inciarte. Good battle here. Keuchel has run up 47 pitches on his count so far. Ball 4 forces in the go-ahead run. 2-1 Arizona. Inciarte draws the walk to get his 27th run batted in.
Almost hard to fathom that Dallas Keuchel has walked 3 hitters here in the 2nd inning.
Well, that's more than he walks in many games. He had not walked anybody in either of his last 2 starts. See, the last time he walked as many as 3 in a game was May 15th here against Toronto. That was in 6 innings. He's had 2 other games, so a total of 3 this season. I'll make it 4 with 3 walks. No more than that in a game.
He has walked 2 per 9 on the season. So, I mean, you see the vast difference.
Nick Ahmed grounded out to shortstop. That comes in for strike 1.
Dallas does what a lot of guys do when they are struggling, turn to some other pitch, that breaking ball.
Ahmed's hit .338 against lefties. It's 1-1.
And then the changeup. We haven't seen a lot of that.
Keuchel, 27 years old, from Tulsa, went to the University of Arkansas. He's a 1-2 in the count.
See his hand get on the outside of the baseball, turn it over, get that breaking ball to come back to the outside edge.
Goldschmidt's on deck. 2-2. Diamondbacks' 6-game winning streak is their longest since 2011, when they had a 9-game streak. They're 1 game under 500. Roll foul.
Now that was a good changeup and well spotted. Watch the grip, kind of those middle and end fingers, and spotting it nicely down and away. tough to get a piece right there.
2-2. One hop, Correa on to first. The Diamondbacks grab the lead with 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave 3 in a 44 pitch inning, 2-1.
That's presented by Houston Methodist, August 14th and 15th, as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the 2005 NLCS championship team. Weekend highlights include a 2005 NLCS t-shirt giveaway and commemorative World Series tumbler giveaway, each to 10,000 fans, and a special pregame ceremony. For more information, visit Astros.com/LegendsWeekend or call 1-877-9-ASTROS, and you can do it today.
Bagwell and Biggio, 2 of the Houston Legends. Evan Gattis leads it off, home of the second. It's the home second inning. Gattis with 16 homers, 58 runs batted in, has a .244 average. 271 at home. And it's ball 1. Gattis said he likes this team of Astros hitting coaches this season, as good as the ones he has worked with in the past. He said it's a different perspective for him than when he was a catcher with Atlanta, when he would put in all that time studying the opposing hitters. 2 balls, no strikes. He can certainly concentrate a lot more on his hitting now than when he was catching.
There is that perspective. As a catcher, you spend so much time working with the pitchers, constantly out catching them and talking with them and the pitching coach and coming up with game plans. And now it's about hitting for Evan.
In for a strike, 2-1. The Astros had 8 hits and scored 4 runs last night. They had a 3-run homer from Jason Castro and a solo shot from Carlos Correa. All 4 of their runs scored in the 5th inning. Then they didn't get a hit after that, as the Arizona bullpen went to work. 3-1. Well, Ash, the month of July ending with 41 trades made in Major League Baseball. Arizona was the only team not to make one. Gattis draws a leadoff walk.
41 separate trades.
Yep.
Wow. How does that factor in with the last 10 years, for example?
Couldn't tell you. It seemed pretty active, though. Now we're past the non-waiver trade deadline. And we're into the waiver period for the rest of this season.
What I like with the Astros trade to get Gomez is you got a guy that goes beyond this season. It's on through next year.
Right. Jed Lowry, the batter. Ball one, and that is important too because it's totally different with a rental player.
I mean, yes, it does say the Astros are giving it all they've got to go win it this year, but it carries over for at least one more year. And I think with all the young talent that's around, that's a great thing for this club.
Carlos Gomez had one more year on his deal for roughly $9 million. Mike Fiers can't be a free agent till I believe 2020. Lowry's making his second start since returning from the minor league rehab assignment. It's 2-0. He was a little sore, he said, after that first game. The plan was always to ease him back into the action. He's 1 for 10 against Hellickson. Jed was 0 for 3 with a walk and scored in that 9th inning game-winning rally Thursday night against the Angels. And he sat out last night's game. That's in the right field, and he's back on the hit column for the first time since rejoining the club. It's first and second, nobody out.
And the hope with Jed Lowry is that he's that contact hitter that really is different than a lot of guys in this order for the Astros. He swings it from both sides. Once you get him going all the way, you can play him game after game, and he's a steady defender.
Mike Harkey, the pitching coach, comes out after the Lowry hit. Hit number 2 for the Astros.
Watch Jed Lowry as from the left side of the plate gets the barrel way out in front as he hits it solidly into right field. That swing for both sides of the plate producing power early on this season.
Rich Dower, the first base coach, talking with Lowry. Puts on that sliding net to protect his surgically repaired right thumb. Hellickson now faces Colby Rasmus. Colby with 13 homers, 36 runs batted in, has a .232 batting average. He was 0 for 4 last night. Chris Carter is next. Rasmus fouls it with the infield playing him to pull as always, and it's strike one. So now Ash moving into this waiver period. There can still be deals, but players have to pass through waivers.
It can be tricky.
Yeah.
The thing is, a lot of clubs have put guys out there who have big contracts, and they may not be that interested in keeping that player, just to see what teams might be trying to grab a player and make a deal.
True. 1-1. There's a good article by Jim Salisbury, the fine Philadelphia writer. And he explained the waiver process in that article. Let's say that Ryan Howard is placed on waivers by the Phillies. Well, first of all, the worst teams in the National League would have a shot at him, ascending on up to the best teams. And then the American League will get a shot at him from worst to first. Somebody could claim it.
But if you think, yeah, I'd like to have Ryan Howard to help us down the stretch, be ready to handle that big contract. And I don't know how many years Ryan Howard has left on that, but that's the tricky part of the equation.
Right. So typically a player like Ryan Howard would not be claimed on waivers by anyone. He would pass, which would mean he could then be traded to any club if he passed through waivers. Trades will happen after this point. They just won't be quite the same as they have been up to July 31st. Shot on the ground. What a pick by Hill. Steps on third base. That was a bullet.
And that gets by Aaron Hill, and the Astros have a great opportunity to put not only one run on the board, maybe a couple. Aaron Hill saying, don't credit me. That ball caught me more than I caught it. But the Astros just be glad that there was only one out on the play.
That's some tough luck for Colby. It went hard the other way, and it's out number one. Chris Carter will follow. Carter with a 184 average has 17 homers, 45 runs batted in. But now if a team were to claim a Ryan Howard, we'll say on waivers, then they could work out a trade with the Phillies. There's a shot. Hill backhands this one. Steps on third. Throws to first. Double play. And it's no runs a hit. A man left after 2-1 Arizona. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Dallas Keuchel in that last start against the Texas Rangers as he lit it up, and he had a few words for some of the hitters as well. Time to go sit down. That's 3 strikes as he picked up 13 strikeouts, a career high in that game. 7 innings of work, 2 hits, and 13 punch-outs.
Now trailing 2-1, he faces Paul Goldschmidt, leading it off in the 3rd inning. Goldschmidt grounded out to third earlier. Delino to Shields got into a little problem last night as the Texas Rangers played the San Francisco Giants with Madison Bumgarner. DeShields popped up and he threw the bat down disgustedly, and Bumgarner yelled at him. And both benches emptied. Nothing really became of it.
Yeah, one of the comments you'll hear in a situation like that is, "What are you too good to pop up on me?"
Right.
You know, and that's why there's a lot of calm that goes on typically on the field. Guys are not inclined to slam helmets and bats, and because it can be read in a very unusual way by the other side.
That's what happened. Goldschmidt is down on strikes. Number 3 for Keuchel.
After working the outside edge so much, especially in that lengthy 2nd inning, Dallas comes down and in with that breaking ball and gets the strikeout. Even that breaking ball, and it's a slider in my estimation. Dallas doesn't call it that, but or maybe he does. He says he doesn't throw a curveball, but ball started up out of his hand. You'd like it to start downward if possible.
Castillo takes a strike. He struck out on a 3-2 count in the 2nd inning. It's Colin McHugh and Robbie Ray here tomorrow at 1:10. That wraps up the homestand. Off the plate, and it's 1-1. Then the 3 starters at Arlington, Texas against the Rangers will be Lance McCullers Monday night. Newcomer Mike Fiers Tuesday night. Scott Kazmir Wednesday night. In for a strike, 1-2. Cole Hamels is pitching for Texas tonight, so he will not be facing the Astros in that series. The Angels got bad news on the left elbow of C.J. Wilson. He will need surgery for bone chips. Struck him out. That's number 4.
Brownie mentioned it, 4 strikeouts now. I would think for Dallas Keuchel the best thing that could happen as he turns back to that slider again would be some quick groundouts after the 44 pitches in the second inning.
Aaron Hill, that little ground ball single to right field that stirred up a lot of trouble as it turned out. There's strike 1. Ball was not well hit, but it trickled into right. It was followed by a walk to Tomas, an RBI single. 2 more walks in the inning. Just missing the corner. It's 1-1.
See the quick change in strategy. Now a lot of breaking balls from Dallas.
Yeah. Right there in the mid of Hank Conger for strike 2 call.
Sets up that one nicely. Very well spotted. It's 1, maybe 2 seams on the edge.
Strike 3 call. He struck out the side. 2-1 Arizona in the 3rd.
Players tonight is Hank Conger, and over the last 15 games Hank Conger has been one of the Bash brothers. That left side of the plate is his strength, and Hank can slam it around from that side, but he's also been swinging it well right-handed, and he's come up with a number of big hits for the club. And he's starting to utilize those Crawford boxes. That could be about a boon for him and for the club.
Now as he comes up, he's leading off the home 3rd inning, trailing 2-1. And Aaron Hill, let's see where he's going. Oh, he's moving over in the shift just a little belatedly. There's where the 3rd baseman is stationed. High drive right field. Conger to tie it. Conger does tie it. It's 2-2. More power from Conger. Number 7.
How about this guy? And how about the catching position now? All of a sudden with Castro hitting home runs in the last couple of games. Big ones, by the way. And Hank Conger keeps slamming away, and George Springer is going to enjoy dance time.
That's one quick swing to create a tie. Correa hit his 11th, and now Conger number 7.
Bob Ford's feeling good.
He is. Jose Altuve follows. He grounded out earlier. That's a strike. The bottom of the order, quite capable of doing damage in this Houston lineup. Chris Carter batting 8, has 17 homers. Colby Rasmus in the 7th spot has 13. Conger now with 7 and limited playing time. No balls, 2 strikes. The Astros have 7 players who have hit 10 homers or more this season, the most they've had since the 06 season. 44 multi-home run games now, most in the majors. Their club record for players with 10 homers or more is 9, and they will almost certainly reach that. Well, around the head of Altuve, it's 1-2. 375 feet on the Conger home run. And Jason Castro has hit homers in consecutive games, so it's 3 straight games. The Astros catchers have homered. And tight, 2-2. Alexson now has given up 16 long balls in 109 innings. Altuve cranks one back foul. And Jason Castro has 9 homers. So does Altuve.
There's that home run swing from Hank Conger. He got the one he liked. And I don't think there was any doubt about this as it left the bat. I think Hank is just enjoying the view.
Altuve gets that one foul.
You can see Altuve say inside as he got the word from the home plate umpire. Just another peek at that home run swing by Hank Conger. Kept his eyes right on the baseball.
His OPS was 1,058 against right-handed pitchers before that homer. Strikeout looking. Number 2. Look at the distribution here, Ash.
Valbuena has been at 19, leading the club now since June 23rd. But Chris Carter slapping one every now and then. 17. Gaddis, Rasmus, Springer, who's been out for a month. Carlos Correa coming on at 11, and Preston Tucker. And I think these guys are going to be joined by more company soon. Castro and Altuve at 9.
Gomez grounds, and here's the shortstop. Ahmed with the throw. 2 outs.
You know, that's nothing but a ground out, but that swing by Carlos Gomez says a lot to, I think, a lot of folks. That's a swing that can hit one 450 plus feet. I think that's why you want a guy like this around. He genuinely is that 5-tool kind of guy.
Correa hit a 2-2 pitch, an off-speed pitch for a homer in the first inning. Glittering numbers. There's a strike. Some of the media folks here covering the game tonight were sitting on the bench when Carlos Correa came in from the field and got ready to take his batting practice swings. He exchanged some pleasantries on the bench for a few seconds before he went out. Everybody was looking at each other, saying, when have you had conversations like this with 20-year-old players who just seem to be as relaxed as if they're sitting in their living rooms?
You know, another guy that can do that is Lance McCullers.
Yeah.
He can handle himself extremely well.
1-2.
Hellickson was heading toward the dugout. Yeah, those two guys are extremely impressive as players, but as humans, you might be surprised because of their youth and the way they handle themselves.
Correa hits that one foul, and they're best of friends. In fact, it was Correa's willingness to take less money than he might have been able to get when he was the first player drafted that allowed the Astros to go over slot money to sign other players such as McCullers. Rolled out to shortstop. Ahmed with the throw. Conger went deep for the 7th time. It's 2-2 after 3. A full house here tonight at Minute Maid Park, and we go to Alan Ashby for the middle 3.
Thank you, Bronny. And see if we can make sure and take care of that voice of yours. We've still got 2 months of winning baseball for the Astros to go through.
A lot of excitement around here.
Dallas Keuchel punched out the last 3 hitters he faced. A 1-2-3 third inning. And a 2-2 tie now with the Astros slamming a couple of home runs. They've gotten home runs tonight out of Carlos Correa, that back in the 1st inning. And then Hank Conger leading off the 3rd. Breaking ball hit high in the air toward right center and shallow. It's Colby Rasmus calling and making the catch, out number 1. In that 3rd inning, Dallas Keuchel worked it to Paul Goldschmidt, Wellington Castillo, and Aaron Hill. And it was a lot of that breaking ball as well that came through as he struck out Goldschmidt. Then Wellington Castillo, same thing. Castillo has struck out twice. And then painting the outside edge with a good fastball on Aaron Hill to get him 5 strikeouts already for Dallas Keuchel. 1 out here in the 4th inning. Brings up the catcher Jared Saltalamacchia, who takes one close but called a ball.
That was the first fly ball out of the ball game, Ash.
Again, 5 strikeouts. Dallas had 3 ground ball outs to start the game in the 1st inning. As a 1-1 count, there's the changeup, and it's a big part of the arsenal for Dallas. But he appeared to have a game plan back in the 1st and maybe the 2nd innings, trying to work the sinker down and away and get some ground balls early. That 2nd inning, it didn't work out. He walked 3 in that frame, and when it was all said and done, the Diamondbacks put 2 on the board. Tough play, but Dallas, the Gold Glover, makes it nicely as he gets Jared Saltalamacchia. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. And Dallas Keuchel can play that defensive side of the game.
He could not afford any kind of a slip up here. The throw sailed a little bit, but Chris Carter's tall enough to handle it.
Can he win a Gold Glove if you never use leather?
That's a very interesting question.
Watch how Dallas picked up that ball. It wasn't the full hand. It was 2 fingers already set to throw. Very intriguing. So 2 outs, 8-hitter. Chris Owings, the second baseman, stands in. Owings struck out looking in the second inning and takes a strike. "32 consecutive games now for Dallas Keuchel with at least 6 innings of work. So the bullpen can just kind of shut it down early in a ball game as that ground ball goes foul. 74 pitches now for Dallas, and again the culprit, the second inning. 44 pitches needed in that frame. It's 22nd start of the year for Dallas. 16 quality starts. And 9-0 right here at Minute Maid Park. Pitches popped up on the right side. Chris Carter in foul territory. He'll make the catch, and that'll do it. An inning that required just 8 pitches. 7 in a row retired by Dallas Keuchel. He tore it up, ladies and gentlemen. And he showed power. Marlins, one of the guys with some home runs, 7 on the year. Swinging from both sides of the plate. And he's come up with some very big hits for the club. I'll tell you what, you get him, especially on that right side of the plate right now, he's ready to launch. Marwin Gonzalez playing all the defensive spots and swinging the bat. And then, of course, Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, Preston Tucker, some very big names, youngsters on this club that are carrying a big load. Carlos Correa already with a home run tonight. 11 on the season. As Preston Tucker leads off here in the bottom of the 4th inning. He's the cleanup man for Houston. Alan Ashby and Bill Brown with you. Brownie just ailing a little bit with his throat, trying to protect things. Preston Tucker, strikeout victim to end the 1st inning. Tucker, one of the guys with 10 home runs. Brownie mentioned 7 hitters for the Astros with 10 or more home runs. Valbuena, Carter, Gaddis, Springer, Rasmus, Correa, and Tucker. Jason Castro with home runs the last couple of nights has 9 on his season. Jeremy Hellickson with a good curveball. It's 1-2.
Ash, as we saw that graphic about the July club leaders, it really speaks to the depth on this team, and a month is a fair amount of time for somebody to excel. Those 3 guys certainly did.
That curveball lands well in front of home plate. 2-2 the count. Tucker, Gaddis, and Lowry here in the inning. Arizona picked up 2 runs in the 2nd inning. A rough inning for Dallas Keuchel. 3 walks and a couple of hits in that frame. The Astros have just been slamming away a first inning dinger by Correa. Conger the same in the third inning. Fastball drilled on a hop, and right there is Owings, the second baseman, to make the play. So that shift on for the Diamondbacks pays off, and out number one.
It certainly did. That ball was drilled, but the positioning could not have been any better for Owings.
Watch that swing of Preston Tucker right through the baseball, and he stings it, but location not all he would want. He's got an unusual right leg with that, the knee stiffening, and you hope he avoids any injury with that swing. One out for Evan Gattis. Fastball just keeps running down and in from Hellickson. Gattis drew a walk. Reached as far as second base in the second inning. The Astros start the night in first place in the American League West. 2 games in front of the Angels, who have already lost today. So you can make it 2.5 as we speak. Astros, Angels, Texas Rangers. And from there on, Seattle and Oakland would appear to be out of any race. Fastball hammered deep center field. Going back, Inciarte at the track. This one is off the wall. Gattis into second base. He'll hold there as he comes up shy of a 7th 3-bagger on the season. Evan Gattis a 1-out double in the 4th inning.
That ball was absolutely blistered. This would have been a home run in a lot of ballparks. You'll see the flight of it. He was right on this pitch.
Yeah, the lumberjack laid the lumber right there. So with 1 out, Gattis at second base for Jed Lowry, who had a single in the second inning. As you watch again, this ball pummeled to left center field. Inciarte had no shot to get back. And it's kind of a learning experience to come to Minute Maid Park and play in center field. 436 straight away and Tal's Hill to deal with. Fastball finds the inside edge.
There's 14 doubles now for Gattis, 7 triples, 16 homers.
Yeah, I said comes up shy of a 7th triple. He has 7 triples. Excuse me. Oh yeah, the numbers quite large there. Slugging percentage up over 450 now for Evan.
That's the important stat too, Ash. A lot of people who would evaluate an Evan Gattis look at the home run column, but there's a lot more there with all those other extra base hits, as you talked about. That all goes into the slugging percentage.
And of course, leading the Astros in RBIs. Gattis had an extremely slow start on the season. 58 ribbies to lead. That's 10 better than the second best Jose Altuve at 48. Lowry with an 0-2 count. Of course, Jed missing much of the season, played just 18 games early on, and then required surgery on that right thumb. Chops one foul at the plate.
Something's happening on Twitter with the fans. They wanted that triple in the worst way.
I'm sure Evan Gattis has begun to think triple when he leaves the box. 4th inning, Dallas Keuchel and Jeremy Hellickson on the hill this evening. Game 2 of this 3-game set. Colin McHugh and Robbie Ray going at it tomorrow night. Colin McHugh shooting for a 13th win of the year, as is Dallas Keuchel. Ground ball left side, going to be tough and bobbled. And now the throw to first is late. Everybody is safe. And we'll see how this is ruled for Jed Lowry. Safely into third base, and aggressive Evan Gattis.
Yeah, that was very lucky for Evan Gattis. He really should not have been breaking to third base on that play. It would have been easy for Ahmed to throw him out, but Ahmed did not field the grounder.
Yeah, and watching Ahmed go after this ground ball and Gattis not having a great jump, you would figure that was an easy play to third. So it's ruled an E6, allowing Lowry to reach. Gattis into third. Runners at the corners with 1 down for Colby Rasmus. Gattis represents a go-ahead run for the Astros.
Goldschmidt with a pretty good stab there as he came off the base to save a run from scoring. Golden opportunity here, Ash.
2 hits for the Diamondbacks, 4 for the Astros, and that's the first error committed on the evening. Shift on for Colby. Aaron Hill is staying on the left side of the infield now at third base. And you can see Evan, the feet started doing something other than heading to third base initially, and he's upset at himself. Maybe a bad reaction on the play, but it all works out.
It certainly is a difference to have that runner on third with 1 out.
Colby Rasmus, the 7-hitter, 0 for his last 7 now. Pops it up, but that'll find the seats back at the screen. Colby with 13 home runs on his year. Batting average at .231 for Colby.
This is one of those must situations for the hitter. He must get the runner home from third.
And you saw that number with a man at third base, less than 2 outs this year. Colby driving that man in just under 50% of the time, 8 out of 17. Breaking ball is fouled back.
The Astros, Ash, have been improving quite a bit in these situations. They were hitting .241 at the All-Star break with runners in scoring position. Right now, .253.
Which is above what the club hits. The Astros hitting .244 as a team. That's 13th in the American League. So clearly, the Astros don't put up the offensive side of the game, and it's been a good offense. They've been among the leaders in runs scored per game all season long. But it's not the batting average that gets them there. It's the long ball. They've had the running game at the top of the league. .145 home runs now with the 2 tonight for Houston. 2-2 the count on Colby. The Astros have stolen 74 bags. That has slowed down a good deal. Jose Altuve with 27 of those stolen bases. Even with last night's loss, the Astros at home 36-18. Inside, that kicks away, or did that hit Colby Rasmus?
Yes.
I believe it is the latter, so that'll load him up as Evan Gattis will head back to third base. A double, an E6, and now a hit batter. The Astros have him loaded for Chris Carter. On that back foot. Colby just hung in and took the abuse.
Mike Harkey, the pitching coach, is on his way. This is really a golden opportunity for the Astros. An error, hit batter, helping to load the bases here with 1 out for Carter.
So Harkey out to the hill. They will chat things over. Kick off your weekends at Minute Maid Park with the best fireworks show in town, presented by Marathon Oil Corporation. The next Friday night fireworks is August 14th when the Astros take on the Tigers. For more information, visit astros.com/fireworks, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Harkey's had his say. The Diamondbacks will break it up, that entire infield working out the way they are going to play things now. Chris Carter grounded into a double play to end the second inning. It was a hot shot to third. Aaron Hill stepped on the bag and fired to first base. And now Carter trying to make something happen and get the Astros on top here in the 4th inning.
He is 1 for 4 with the bases loaded.
Second on the club in home runs with 17. Third in RBIs.
The pitch down there is not what he is looking for.
Well, you see the 3 base runners, Rasmus, Lowry, and Gattis, and a 1-0 count on Carter. And now 2-0 and a great hitter's count. Good crowd on hand here Saturday evening in Houston, Texas. Over 34,000 last night to watch these two clubs. Hellickson from the stretch. Well spotted, and not a bad pitch for Carter to take.
You're absolutely right. He must be thinking that he needs to get the ball in the air and drive it here. Would have been not so easy to do on that location.
Carter hit just 160 in the early month of the season and 109 in July, and now has a 3-1 count.
Well, he's sticking to his plan here, Ash. He has not seen a pitch that he likes and is ahead 3-1.
And Conger, who homered his first at bat, waiting on deck and looking for an opportunity. 3-1 on Carter. Chris fouls it off, so a full count. I think the Astros players have been commenting recently about how nice it is to have these big crowds showing up in Houston.
There's a ton of energy in the building.
It is starting, Brownie, to feel like a pennant race.
It is.
The 3-2. Up and in, and that'll walk a run home. RBI walk for Chris Carter. 3-2 Astros lead, and still one out now for Hank Conger.
Solid approach by Carter. That's his 46th walk of the year. The Astros are taking what the Diamondbacks are giving them, and they're giving them quite a bit so far this inning.
Been a double, an error, a hit batter, and a walk. And there's Hank Conger's first swing of the night. And how Hank and company would like to see that repeated. Conger, the 9-hitter tonight for the Astros. That home run in the third inning, number 7 for Hank.
The Astros are still looking for their first grand slam.
That's pretty amazing. A team that leads the major leagues in home runs still looking for the first slam. High heat up out of the strike zone. Or was it? Got that high strike, and the umpires are well advised to make sure they're calling that a strike. Next pitch, number 25 here in the inning for Hellickson. And now Conger steps out again. Jose Altuve waits on deck. The Astros would love to make this a big frame. They've scored a run in the first, one in the second, make that one in the third, and one more here in the fourth. Changeup misses low.
Well, these hitters are really working the count.
You know, when you're trying to juice a baseball, as I'm sure Conger is right now, that's hard to lay off that changeup that looks like a fastball starting at the knees. But now a very nice 2-0 count for Hank. Gets the change again and just gets a piece. This is that previous changeup. You see the grip, and it just dives, and that's a perfect take by Conger. You can see neither the hips nor the shoulder opening up. Left-hander Andrew Chafin now warming up in the pen for the Diamondbacks. Big 2-1 pitch to Conger. Fastball hammered deep right field. The Astros now have a grand slam. Second home run of the night for Hank Conger. And the Astros extend the lead to 7-2 here in the inning.
This man has some serious power, and it is on display.
Well, he got a hitter's count, and he got the fastball he was looking for and didn't miss it.
Last year, Conger hit 4 homers and 231 at-bats for the Angels. He's never hit more than 7 in a major league season until now. His career multi-home run game.
8 home runs for Hank Conger, and that's a big one as the Astros now lead at 7-2, and Altuve strokes one into left field. Just the 3rd hit of the inning. Hank Conger once again, see ya. 401 feet the estimated distance. Four home runs now in the last 3 ball games for the catchers of the Astros. Altuve with that speed aboard. Carlos Gomez at the plate, and that one almost got him. Five runs in here in the inning. And now for the Diamondbacks, they've got Josh Colmenter warming. They change things up, put the right-hander in the pen. There's a little tapper foul from Gomez. Gomez 0 for 2 on the night, and now 0 for his last 14, and the Astros can afford some smiles on the bench.
Five runs batted in, ties Conger's single game high as a major leaguer.
Three home runs for the Astros tonight. 1-2 now the count on Gomez, who beats himself up. How about this team? 146 home runs to lead. And Hank Conger earning more and more playing time. Still just 1 out here in the 4th. Gomez, the 8th hitter of the inning for Houston. That's drilled in by Aaron Hill down the left field side. Altuve digging for 3rd on a double by Gomez, his first hit as a member of the Houston Astros.
He really lashed that one hard, and Hill, who made that outstanding play earlier on a hard hit ball, could not really do much about this. Very little reaction time. The fans reached over. They did not interfere with it. They did not touch the ball, so that kept it in play.
A double to snap an 0 for 14 for Carlos Gomez. And now the catcher, Saltalamacchia, out to the mound as you get a peek at that double once again. Altuve stopping at 3rd base. And a little point back at his new teammate. And we love having you aboard. He's known as a fiery guy, Brownie. There's no doubt about it. That's going to do it for Jeremy Hellickson as the Diamondbacks will turn to the bullpen here in the 4th inning, as the Astros will send their 9th man to the plate, leading it 7-2. This one with the bases juiced. And the Astros have gotten in that grand slam category finally. A big crowd on hand. They all enjoy it. Carlos Correa obviously enjoying things. And you watch George Springer. The party, well, you can't say it just begun, but it is well in motion now in the Astros dugout. Nate Conger enjoying what the guys have been being treated with here recently. Ronnie, have they doused you?
Not yet. How about yourself?
No, I've stayed pretty dry myself.
Julia has been refreshed many times so far this
She
year.
has. So the Diamondbacks go to the bullpen. Josh Colmenter, the right-hander, comes on to work at 29 years of age. Pitcher number 2 on the night, 15th rounder for Arizona back in 2007. And now 5 years in the major leagues, a game over 500 over those 5 seasons. He works it to Carlos Correa, who has runners at second and third as the Astros try to add to this 7-2 lead. And all the while here in this 4th inning, Dallas Keuchel getting a chance to relax in the dugout. Out on the hands of Correa.
Colmenter was the opening day starter for Arizona. Has an unusual tomahawk throwing motion, Ash.
He's gone just 3-6 on the season. You mentioned that he started opening day. He has made 12 starts for the club, 24 appearances now overall. And he's had a tough time. He's allowed 100 hits in 83 plus innings. I don't know if the Diamondbacks this year thought they had a realistic chance to compete in their division in that National League West. But they're just a game under 500, playing very good baseball.
Yeah.
They've won 6 straight.
Well, they were 64-98 last year, so that would be a stretch. But Chip Hale's club has really done much better this season.
Correa fouls it down the right side. 2-2 the count on Carlos.
Quite a night, Ash, for Hank Conger. It's his first multi-home run game and his first Major League Grand Slam.
That's great stuff. You see, never hitting a grand slam in his career. And now, for the moment anyway, the man sitting on the bench. Colmenter, by the way, has allowed 14 long balls this year. Certainly a different look at the plate with Colmenter on the hill. Carlos Correa, by the way, if you're just checking in, homered back in the 1st inning. That was the first of the 3 tonight for Houston. And for Carlos Correa, his 11th of the season, which, by the way, leads all American League shortstops. And, of course, Carlos hasn't been here all season.
Interesting. And now Troy Tulowitzki is in American League.
Well, that does change things around, but strike 3 called outside corner. So Correa caught looking. That's 2 down here in the 4th. And it brings up Preston Tucker, who started the inning. And Tucker stung one as he grounded out. Did this one catch the corner? I think Carlos Correa has reason to jump.
Yes, he does.
That's 3 strikeouts of Astros hitters on the evening. And Preston Tucker, a chance to pick up some 2-out runs. Tucker 0 for 2 on the night, has struck out and grounded out. Really unfair to call that a ground out to start the inning. He lashed one on a hop to the second baseman Owings deep into a shift into shallow right field. Hits one high down the right field side in the corner, and that is drifting back into the seats. So 0-2 now on Tucker. Tucker last night went 2 for 4. In fact, he's had back-to-back 2 for 4 games. Came into play tonight hitting an even 270. And what a job he's been doing. But a base hit right now goes a long ways to turning this one into a legitimate laugher for the Astros. The Astros trying to even the series to a game apiece. After seeing that strike 3 called on Correa, you hate to see anything close on the edges.
Yeah, hitters have been warned.
Quiet on the bench for the moment, but a lot of enjoyment has been had. That one has Tucker waving way in front, and he strikes out for the second time tonight. 10 hitters come to the plate, but this one, Hank Conger laid the wood, the grand slam. The Astros put 5 on the board in the inning and lead over the Diamondbacks 7-2.
MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Carlos Gomez with a double in the 4th. That was his first hit as a Houston Astro. Can breathe a little bit easier now. And this is after what was maybe a tough night for him, the tough first night as a Houston Astro. He even took the blame for last night's loss on a miscue on a fly ball back in the 6th. A.J. Hinch said today that the outfielders will get to know each other. That's not going to take long, but the bigger adjustments will be when Gomez starts to move to the corners, maybe even moving Marisnik to the corners. Some of that can be new, but universal language out there. No concern that these guys are going to adapt to each other very quickly. Ash.
Thank you, Julian. It's an outfield that can really go get it. Dallas Keuchel gets in front 0-2 as he faces the 9-hitter. Cliff Pennington leading off the 5th. Pennington, Inciarte, and Ahmed for the Diamondbacks here in the 5th inning. Hank Conger has already had quite a night with the 2 home runs and the grand slam. Count stays at 0-2. 78 pitches now for Dallas. And I guess the question is, how far might Dallas go? He's got that string of 6-inning outings, 32 of them.
Well, ideally, the Astros would probably like to get him out early tonight if it is a blowout game. But the bullpen came in for heavy use last night.
2-2 the count now. Pennington drew a walk in the 2nd inning when Dallas walked 3. And the change misses again, so 3-2. First inning very sharp for Dallas. Since then, not as sharp as we've seen him much of the time. Fastball grounded left side. Easy for Lowry. And out number 1 in the 5th.
This is kind of a time of change during this homestand with Jed Lowry moving back into the lineup and at a different position, third base, an opportunity for him to settle in, and now with the different outfield alignment as well with Carlos Gomez in center field.
Kazmir and Fiers enter the rotation now for the club, and you've got the addition, if you will, of Jed Lowry along with Gomez, and so it's a ball club that's taking on a new look, but it would seem to be a stronger and better look. One out for the leadoff man, Ender Inciarte.
Well, you talk to players, Ash, they seem to be very, very excited about the moves that have been made by Jeff Luhnow to add to this club.
I think players are always excited when they feel like management has done all they can to give you the best shot to win things.
Right.
And I think that's where the Astros are right now. 2.5 games in front at the moment over the Angels. And a 1-2 count on Inciarte.
What they did earlier this week in sweeping the Angels really went a long way. And now with the addition of Scott Kazmir and the 2 guys from Milwaukee, Fiers and Gomez, they're a fortified team right now.
Inciarte lays off the breaking ball. One more game at home where the Astros have played so well this year. Colin McHugh tomorrow against Robbie Ray. A 1-10 start and then off on the road, and it's a lengthy road trip. Starts with 3 games in Arlington. Fly ball to center field. Drifting into left center field is Gomez. And the second out of the inning. And the road is where the Astros have had their issues this year. 22 and 28. Is it now time with the additions on this club to be able to turn that around, get 2 or maybe above 500 and see this team run?
Well, they would of course be intent on pushing as hard as they can push, whether home or road, for every additional win they can get now. Still a ways to go.
Nick Ahmed at the plate is grounded out to shortstop twice.
They'll be playing Oakland and San Francisco after the series in Texas.
Good looking pitch. It's a ball and a strike. Yeah, it's intriguing that the team will spend 1 week in San Francisco while they play Oakland and the Giants.
When they come back home, they'll have a nice long home stand of 10 games. Detroit, Tampa Bay, and the Dodgers. And then finish out the latter stages of August, going on a trip to Yankee Stadium and Minnesota before meeting Seattle here.
Ground ball right side. Altuve has it kick off the glove, and so with 2 outs, Ahmed reaches on the E4, and it brings up Paul Goldschmidt.
4th error for Altuve. He moved quickly to his left. Might have gotten a bad hop. We'll check it here.
Rare play for Jose, who has been fantastic at second base. So Ahmed aboard, Goldschmidt at the plate with a 12-game hitting streak, 0 for 2 on his night, and a good breaking ball for a called strike.
With a 5-run lead, Dallas Keuchel can approach Goldschmidt aggressively.
Fouls one down the right side. Goldschmidt leads the National League in hitting, in walks, second in RBIs, first in on base percentage, hits, second in runs scored. You can go on and on with this guy, and a local product.
Last series the Astros lost at home was at the end of May against the White Sox. They dropped 2 of 3 here.
Well, that's taking it way back.
You bet.
Count stays at 1-2.
If they have really put together such solid home stands against some good clubs, that their confidence is probably as high as any team's confidence playing at home this year with that 36-18 home record.
Goldschmidt from the Woodlands High School, drafted in the 8th round in 2009. Hard to believe he could fall that far in the draft.
It is hard to believe. Baseball is just, that is something that happens all the time in the baseball draft. Difficult to identify star players at that point.
Now in his 5th year, 3-time All-Star, has a 3-2 count. So that pitch count continues to mount, and this could be the final inning for Dallas Keuchel, now at 97 pitches. Just 57 strikes. And again, quite surprising after that 1-2-3 ground ball first inning. Breaking ball got him looking. So caught on strikes, Paul Goldschmidt. That's 6 strikeouts for Dallas Keuchel. 98 pitches. He'll head off as the Astros lead it 7-2 here in the 5th.
West Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And brought to you by Woodlands Church. A big church makes a big difference.
The Astros with a 7-2 lead as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Evan Gattis leads it off. Gattis got that 4th inning started after Preston Tucker had grounded out to start things. Gattis doubled off the wall in left center field. And the big swing again. Hank Conger, his 2nd bomb of the night, his 1st grand slam of his career.
We haven't checked for a while, Ash, but at the last report, the Astros were scoring about 50% of their runs on homers. Tonight, they've scored 6 out of 7 on homers.
3 home runs already for the Astros tonight. They continue to lead in the long balls. Rammed to left field on a line. That's off the scoreboard. And Evan Gattis will be held to a single, but you cannot hit a baseball harder than that.
That's a laser shot. He hit it too hard to get a double.
Evan Gattis 2 for 2, and enjoy the sound. Four-seam fastball went out much faster than it came in. So that brings up Jed Lowry. Lowry 1 for 2 on his night. Evan Gattis, by the way, 2 for 2. He's also walked to go with the double and single. Lowry hitting .292. There's a good change. Watch a man just destroy a baseball. Pennington played it well off the wall, I'll say that.
He did. A surveyor could have seen that one well. That would stayed on a line.
Changeup is inducing some weak swings.
Now Coleman with that big over-the-top action can get some bad swings with that off-speed stuff.
Brownie mentioned that Lowry played a couple of nights ago, that against the Angels, going 0 for 3, did draw a walk and score a run as he grounds it foul. His base hit tonight coming in the second inning as he lined one into right field.
Well, one advantage, so to speak, as far as A.J. Hinch being able to play all these different players, is that he is making sure that nobody is left out, and everybody should feel a part of the mix coming down to the most important 2 months of the season.
Ground ball slowly hit on the left side. They'll get it out at second. That's all they'll get. So a fielder's choice enables Lowry to reach. Gaddis erased 5-4. One out for Colby Rasmus.
And Lowry, there's a player coming back from an injury, and some of the other guys are going to need an occasional rest. Difficult to give Altuve and Correa days off, but they will need a few between now and the end of the year. And there certainly are people ready to step in when that happens.
Colby Rasmus at the plate. 0 for 1, has been hit by a pitch and scored a run. That came in the 5-run fourth. That floating changeup comes in.
Well, in many ways, Ash, August may be the toughest month of the baseball season because reinforcements will be arriving for all these teams via September call-ups.
Shot up the middle. That's a base hit. Second hit of the inning. Stopping at second is Lowry. And with one out, runners at first and second for Chris Carter.
There certainly have been some balls squared up tonight by the Houston Astros.
That's about as much of an over-the-top four-seamer as you can throw. Right behind the baseball. Well, Chris Carter comes to the plate. Chris had one of the crucial at-bats of the game. That came in the fourth inning with the bases loaded as he drew a walk and drove in a run. And then he was aboard for the grand slam hit by Hank Conger.
Now, obviously, Chris Carter, who went on a rampage last August, would love to come up and hit a home run in that situation, but he had a solid approach. He stayed with it, and he drew the bases loaded walk.
Carter has never hit that hot spell this year. And yet 17 home runs.
You know, Ash, as you've seen throughout your many seasons playing, at this stage of the season, for a team in first place like the Astros, it becomes a lot less about individual statistics.
Absolutely. More so with how well your team is playing, always.
And the good thing about it is, for a player who has underproduced, he need not really take that on anymore. It's all about what he can do on any given day, and his numbers may suffer in any given season, but it's time to put that on the back shelf and do what the team needs.
Brownie mentioned the big August last year for Chris Carter. 12 home runs in that month, 29 RBIs. Carter puts it in the air to right field. Routine for Tomas. Catch is made. Tagging is Lowry as he heads for third. It'll be first and third with 2 outs for the 9-hitter Hank Conger.
That was quite a throw from Tomas.
It was.
Right on target, but Lowry got in ahead of it.
toss, moving right into that ball. Two outs. Hank Conger had himself a bit of a night. Had a solo home run as he led off the third inning, and then the grand slam in the fourth inning. 5 ribbies tonight. Home runs 7 and 8 on his season. Yeah, that was pure enjoyment. Not so much for Jeremy Hellickson, but George Springer and Carlos Gomez and company thoroughly enjoyed that swing. The changeup has Hank in front.
Just thinking back to the long history of the Astros in the National League with a pitcher batting ninth. And you see the last 3 home run game came from Carlos Lee against the Phillies. Think about this. Conger is batting ninth tonight. He's 2 for 2, 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. That has rarely, if ever, happened in the history of the Astros, that the number 9 hitter has done that kind of damage. It was usually the pitcher, and they've only had a few years in the American League, but it's still impressive even in the AL.
That last pitch, Brownie, the changeup again. Second time tonight that Hank Conger has taken a pitch perfectly. And usually when you're doing that, the mechanics are so good that you'll get yourself in a hot streak. "27 years of age is Hank Conger. Chops one in front of the plate. They'll get the out at first. As they finally retire Hank Conger, down go the Astros in the 5th inning. They leave a pair. Go into the 6th, 7-2 Houston.
Introduce to you our progressive fan of the game. I'm with Roy, who picked a great game to come to. How long have you been an Astros fan, Roy?
Well, I was a Colt 45 fan before I was an Astro fan. I got to go to a Colt 45 game and got to go to when they opened the Astrodome. I got to go see the Yankees play the Astros, and I listened to the games every night as a teenager.
You're a big fan. What do you think of this game?
It was great, especially after last night's game.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. Well, enjoy the game. Thank you for being our progressive fan of the game. Y'all have a great time.
All right, thank you.
Long-time fan. It's up to you.
Thanks a lot, Julia. And you have a great time as well. 7-2 Astros lead. Dallas Keuchel's back on the hill. You may have noticed. There's pitch number 100 for Dallas. Josh Fields is warming in the pen for Houston. Dallas Keuchel obviously trying to get through this 6th inning. The last time that Dallas did not pitch at least 6 innings in a game came July 19th last year at Chicago against the White Sox, as he went 5 innings, allowing 12 hits and 4 runs, 3 of them earned.
Well, that's an amazing run, Ash.
So that takes it back a good ways.
Brett Myers, the last Astro to go 6 innings, 32 straight starts in 2010.
And of course, Dallas trying to win his 13th as he starts the inning, striking out Castillo. 3rd time for Castillo tonight. A guy who's homered in 3 consecutive games for the Diamondbacks.
He expanded his zone quite a bit here.
7 strikeouts for Dallas. Aaron Hill comes to the plate, 1 for 2 with a strikeout. Keuchel struck out the side in the 3rd inning and starts Hill with a strike. Brownie talked about some of the exploits of Aaron Hill in a very fine career. This year has seen a downturn, hitting just .220. Hill now 33 years of age. Breaking ball fouled back. It's 1-2, and that's probably been the big turnaround for Dallas tonight. Finding that breaking ball after starting to miss in the 2nd inning with the heater.
What he's done so well is go to a different approach, and he certainly can command everything he throws. That really helps him if he has to turn away from his initial game plan.
Breaking ball, half swing, and he's called out. Down at first base, Dale Scott, the crew chief, throws up the right fist. 2nd strikeout for Aaron Hill. 8 on the night for Dallas Keuchel as he tries to get 1 more out this evening. Yasmani Tomas now will come to the plate as you see Hill, and I don't think Aaron liked that call. Tomas has walked and scored and flied to right field.
Ash Cole Hamels is making his Texas Rangers debut. It's 3-3 Giants and Rangers in the bottom of the 4th.
Wonder how he likes or will like when the season's over pitching in the heat of Arlington.
That is a very interesting question.
Ground ball right side. Carter's there. He'll take it to the bag. Almost decided to flip it on to Keuchel. But a 1-2-3 6th inning as Dallas Keuchel has certainly righted the ship. Only 10 pitches needed. He leads it 7-2. The Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Braves 20-10 at Fulton County Stadium behind the 3-double, 2-home run night of Willie Stargell. The Hall of Famer is currently 49th on the all-time list of career extra base hits. How about Pops? And he could really hammer the baseball.
Chicken on the hill was the old Bob Prince call on a Stargell home run in Pittsburgh.
To the bottom of the 6th we go as Jose Altuve leads it off at the top of the order. Gomez still on to work it for the Diamondbacks.
What was that pitch about? Nose high?
Seemed to be. For the moment, both bullpens quiet. Over the top, Yacker. 1-1 the count on Jose. Altuve with a hit in 3 at bats. Snapped an 0 for 11 with that 4th inning single. David Peralta now playing in right field for the Diamondbacks. Five-run 4th inning. That's the difference in the ballgame. It was 2-2 until that point. The Astros with 3 long balls tonight. Correa and 2 for Hank Conger. Hit high in the air, shallow into left field. And now the left fielder calling and making the play. That's Pennington, out number 1.
Josh Fields was throwing in the Astros bullpen. Vince Velasquez has not pitched since last weekend. This might be one of those games that give him an opportunity to finish things out. We'll have to wait and see what develops.
And now Fields gets back up on the hill. Probably got loose enough to throw a few more pitches now. You would figure that Dallas Keuchel would be done with his night. Carlos Gomez 1 for 3, had a 4th inning double. His first hit as a member of the club. That gets all the weight off your shoulders.
You mentioned he snapped the 0 for 14. That really does in a couple of ways. One with a new team, the other to put that 0 for 14 to bed.
Big swing as he fouls it back. And he set up an opportunity that the Astros didn't seize, but he put runners at 2nd and 3rd in that inning. And a chance to add to it. There's Josh Fields. So it would seem that Fields is set to work the 7th inning.
It would be nice if, we'll say, he worked the 7th and Velasquez could finish the game and save the other relievers for tomorrow.
That would be good. Fields will face the bottom 3 in the order for the D-backs. 0-2 the count on Gomez.
There certainly is outfield depth on this club right now, and that's, you know, with George Springer waiting in the wings to come back hopefully later this month.
One and 2 on Gomez.
Somebody asked a question tonight about when George is expected back. There's no hard and fast date.
Little fister up the middle. 2nd hit of the night for Carlos Gomez. He's 2 for 4. And so that's good to see. Get that bat hot, and that's a great addition for the Astros offense.
He had 2 All-Star seasons in 2013 and 2014. Very fine years.
Right on the hands to pick up that base hit. He's an exciting player, Brownie. There's no question about it.
He's not stealing bases this year the way he has, but he has had some very good stolen base seasons. He's had some leg problems this season. Says he's fine now.
Carlos Correa is certainly fine. He's 1 for 3 with a home run. His 11th already. And now our Geico quote of the day is Hank Conger talking about the transcendent talent of Carlos Correa. He said, "You hate comparing anyone to Mike Trout. But as far as the charisma, the way he handles himself, the way he goes about baseball every single day, you just can't help it. And I really think most of us are running out of superlatives for this young shortstop for the Astros.
We are going to be leafing through the dictionary very soon.
I saw you going through it a little while ago.
Somebody tried to burn it. It's all online.
Diving back is Gomez.
Seriously, though, you know, the A-Rod comparisons have been made since the day he arrived, or even before then. And then there's Cal Ripken. And then there's Derek Jeter. So now let's turn to other players at different positions.
Well, I hadn't heard the Mike Trout stuff.
No. And I don't think that's a good comparison, because let's keep it to the position he plays.
Yeah. Very different players. I've heard Mike Trout compared with Mickey Mantle, and because of that strength and the speed and everything that Trout possesses, I think that's fair.
Yes.
There goes Gomez. Pitches hammered deep right field. Back at the wall. See ya. Carlos Correa, his second long ball of the night. And the Astros add 2 more and lead it 9-2 here in the 6th.
This kind of opposite field power is very exciting to this packed house at Minute Maid Park tonight. That ball was in the air to the opposite field a long time. Plenty of authority to that swing, and a 2-home run game for Carlos Correa.
Well, you could say almost anything in a positive fashion and you'd be right about Carlos Correa. Wow. 4 Astros home runs tonight. It brings Preston Tucker to the plate. He's had a quiet night, 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. I think the guys would be willing to take care of Carlos Correa for a good long while. 12 home runs already for Carlos.
Ash, he has not hit more than 9 in any of his minor league seasons. He had 9 at Quad Cities in 2013 and 450 at bats. That's the surprise.
Well, is he just getting more mature and bigger and stronger? It's hard to figure.
What a show.
Preston Tucker on that changeup is out in front. 1 out here in the 6th. And then Carlos Gomez picked up a base hit to center field. Carlos Correa goes oppo. That's another aspect of the game for Carlos Correa. Any part of the ballpark is in play. And now for the Astros, Vince Velasquez starting to loosen.
Yeah, that might have been the tipping point, getting those 2 runs to allow Josh Fields to sit down and think about finishing this game with Vince Velasquez with the 7-run lead.
Glancing out there, it looks like Fields may still be throwing. I wonder if Velasquez is just starting to loosen things up for, as you said, maybe the 8th and 9th.
That's probably it. It takes him more time to get ready.
Ground ball to the right side. The second baseman Owings with the play. Second out of the inning. That'll bring up Evan Gattis. Man, that's a pitch you want to hit, but he's hitting these pitches at an alarming rate.
Well, he's hitting off-speed pitches out of the ballpark to right field.
He doesn't rely on trying to get out in front and yanking things down the left field line. He just stays on the baseball and drives it.
He had a changeup off C.J. Wilson for a homer to right field Tuesday night.
Well, you add Carlos Correa and now Carlos Gomez to this ball club that broke from camp spring training. Scott Kazmir in the starting rotation. Little pop up on the right side of the infield. It's the pitcher calling. Cole Mentor makes the catch, and that'll do it. But the Astros, on the strength of Carlos Correa's second long ball of the night, add 2 and lead it 9-2. DT call to the bullpen as Josh Fields comes on to pick it up for Dallas Keuchel, who winds up working 6 strong innings. Game number 36 on the year for Fields, and no runs scored against him over the last 5 appearances. Right-hand hitters, a miserable 136 against him. Some changes, obviously, with Fields coming on, and of course, Bill Brown back to the mic to bring you the rest of the way.
Thank you, Ash. And you see that season for Josh. He pitched last night briefly in the game. Dallas Keuchel threw 108 pitches, 66 were strikes. He threw 44 of those pitches in the second inning when Arizona got its 2 runs. But overall, more quality work from Dallas. 6 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. And now it's Fields, and it's Saltalamacchia batting. Salty 1 for 2 with an RBI tonight. Fouls it back. There's strike 1. Certainly was a nice adjustment made by Dallas Keuchel after he walked 3 and gave up 2 singles in that second inning. Even after falling behind 2-1, he still was in trouble after the bases loaded walk to Inciarte. And he got Nick Ahmed to end that inning. That, looking back on it now, the biggest out in this game. It's 1-1. Then the Astros went to work, and they have continued that work with a 4-home run assault tonight. Paid attendance 36,602. Fields threw only 6 pitches last night, working 2/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs. Two homers for Correa, 2 homers for Conger tonight. The Astros have an 11-hit assault. It's in the air. The center fielder Gomez goes for it. 1 out for Fields. Last night, Astros relievers came in the 6th inning. Chad Qualls threw 21 pitches, working an inning and a third. Tony Sipp pitched 2/3 of an inning. Will Harris 2/3. Luke Gregerson 1 inning. Pat Neshek threw 10 pitches, and Fields threw 6. Very busy night for the Astros relievers. A.J. Hinch coming out now. Owings will be the batter. And Fields will come out after facing just the 1 batter. Vince Velasquez is on his way. We'll be back with a score 9-2. By Miller Lite. Dallas Keuchel had a very good first inning, 3 ground ball outs. Then later in the game, after giving up the 2 runs in the second, he turned to the breaking stuff, Ash.
And he was very successful with it. He really turned things around once he started showing the Diamondbacks hitters that breaking ball was not only going to be thrown, but thrown for strikes. And he was able to bury some to pick up strikeouts. Another effective night for Dallas. on a night where it looked like he may not have had his stuff, and when you looked at that second inning. And I think also, Brownie, the 108 pitches, nothing major at all for Dallas.
Nope, he takes that in stride. 33 straight games of at least 6 innings, a new club record. Vincent Velasquez in 8 games, 7 as a starter, has gone 1-1 with a 3.92 ERA. It's his first appearance since Sunday at Kansas City. That was his first major league relief appearance. And now he faces Chris Owings. Owings is 0 for 2. Good fastball for strike one.
Things alive.
Vince Velasquez, when he was sent back down to Double-A Corpus Christi, did not pitch in a game. He was there for 10 days, 2 weeks, but he worked in bullpens with Doug Brocail, the pitching coach, and he polished his slider, and he's brought it back to very good effect at the major league level. Now, as the Astros try to manage his innings, he's the long man in the bullpen. He's been off all week, and the skipper, A.J. Hinch, was asked about how to use Vince before the game tonight in his media session. There's that slider, and it's 1-2. He said, I need to give him more time to warm up than the guys who are relievers, because he has been a starter, so I have to pick my spots and make sure we don't try to rush him. So it appeared that what was happening was, when the Astros got the extra 2 runs in the 6th inning, they switched from Fields to Velasquez, but Velasquez needed more time to get ready, so Fields got the first batter. Just guessing on that. And that's a strikeout for out number 2.
And that strikeout comes on the slider you just talked about. A lot of polishing did go on, and this is just pure filth. Really good stuff from Velasquez. Fingers out around the baseball. The spiral is created, and with his velocity, that becomes awfully tough to handle.
Cliff Pennington is next. He has walked and grounded out. So managing the innings of Velasquez and Lance McCullers will be on the agenda for the Astros. Strike. A.J. Hinch is playing it series by series with announcing his starting pitchers.
Little two-seamer action right there at 88. Now, I don't know if that's the changeup. It might be.
Kind of looked like it had some changeup action, but then a sinker can do that too, as you indicated. Two balls and a strike.
Love this guy's arm, and you start talking about him and Lance McCullers as guys that have been added to the roster since coming out of spring training. And boy, this is a much improved team.
That's out to right center field. Rasmus to end the top of the 7th inning. 9-2 Houston.
Astro, brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Here are your clues. Remember to tweet the boys in the booth with your guesses. Hit his first career home run off Mike Ware. Caught 107 shutouts, and he was the co-host of Inside Houston 1994-1995. Guys, this one's a personal favorite of mine.
Inside Houston?
Inside Houston.
Oh, don't act like you didn't watch it all the time, Rob. Come on.
That's a TV show? All right.
Wow.
I'll go with Alan Ashby.
No, you're not.
We go to the bottom of the 7th inning, and it's Jed Lowry. Jake Lamb is in at first base now, replacing Paul Goldschmidt. 107 shutouts.
Julia, you just made Brownie completely whiff.
What did I do? I said this one was a personal favorite of mine.
Well, that's
one of my all-time favorite Astros.
whoever it is, they're going to be really pleased.
Hill makes the catch. There's one out. All right, we'll give everybody a while to chew on that one. One out in the 7th inning. The Astros up 9-2. Meanwhile, earlier today, the Dodgers beat the Angels 3-1. Clayton Kershaw going to 9-6. He beat Andrew Heaney, who's 5-1. Kenley Jansen got his 19th save. And thereby, the Astros have a chance to add to their lead. They can be 3 in front of the Angels. Colby Rasmus has a single. He's been hit by a pitch. He takes a strike, and we'll be checking that scoreboard, of course, on the Texas Rangers game for you tonight as well, because they are still in it. They're tied 3-3 with San Francisco. They're in the bottom of the 5th. And evidently that's why they made the Cole Hamels trade, not only for the next few years, but also for this year. General Manager John Daniels feels that they have the kind of club to put a run together. They're 7 games out. And so, you know, Ash, they must be pointing for the upcoming series.
Yeah, I was going to say, so that kind of talk and that action to back it up says it's a big series for the Astros and probably larger for the Texas Rangers coming up. But for the Astros, it's all about going out and continuing to play good baseball.
Rasmus shoots a line drive. He got that one through the shift. Single to right field for Colby. The free safety almost got over there and flagged that one down, but Colby is 2 for 3 tonight.
I'm not sure he had a shot on this bullet.
Boy.
I was just thinking, watching this rocket and the others that have been hit tonight, this is an impressive night. And I'm not worried about what others outside of the club are thinking when I say that. I'm talking about the guys within the club and the confidence it can bring.
Excellent thought. Chris Carter drew a bases loaded walk. He's 0 for 2. Adding the parts that they have added in the last week. Now getting used to the new faces in the clubhouse. This is one of those feel-good nights. And it's strike one. Gomez a big part of it. He's gone 2 for 4. Oh, Johnny Edwards, he was a good catcher.
It's a good guess right there. And he had some flowing hair too.
He doesn't display that anymore, Ash, when he comes out to the ballpark.
No? A lot of us don't. Of course, you're not bad at it.
Well, you know, it really doesn't matter when you come down to it, right?
Well, I'm not sure I agree.
In the dirt, 1 and 2.
One of the few times I've been in disagreement with you, Brownie.
The Johnny Edwards, though, was, I think, Larry Durker's favorite catcher he ever worked to.
Oh, I'm sure.
We're looking back at some records of Astros teams to this point in the season, and home records. They've had a lot of great seasons at home, winning more than 50 games several times. That 69 team did well with Johnny Edwards. Rolled to shortstop. Ahmed to second, and then Owings in time. And it's a 6-4-3 double play. That's the 7th inning with the Astros up 9-2. is in the outfield. They've out hit the D-backs 12-2 tonight.
And I think this big crowd has had a pretty good time with this one.
Oh, very enjoyable night. Now Jake Marisnick takes over in right field. Colby Rasmus has shifted over to left field. Preston Tucker coming out of the game. We had a question on Twitter about Jake Marisnick's playing time. This is probably a situation for him that will be repeated many times. Late inning defensive replacement when he is not the starter.
You know, I'd worry about a lot of guys. With Jake, I don't know that you need worry. He's got a great attitude.
He does. He will play anywhere, anytime. And A.J. Hinch said there will be times when Carlos Gomez will play the corners. And Jake will be in center field, presumably. Ender Inciarte is 0 for 2 with a bases loaded walk. There's ball one. Then when George Springer comes back, of course, that question will have to be answered all over again. But A.J. does have a lot of chess pieces he can use in different ways. Just always of interest to watch how he puts the thing together every night. Moving people in and out.
But I think Jeff Luhnow and his staff have done a great job to make that game of chess a bit easier for A.J.
Oh yeah, there's Marwin. He had that great month of July. We saw his numbers, best on the club. Good looking pitch for a strike. Also to answer another question we had tonight, Ash. How many innings would Lance McCullers need to pitch to qualify for the ERA title? He would need to pitch 1 inning for every game the Astros play. So if they play 162, he needs 162 innings.
But that's one of those crowns, though, that if you don't get that many innings, you can still, like the batting title, you can still have it extended. I believe on the ERA crown. Is that not the case?
I don't think so.
You can't extend it. You have to get to that figure?
Yes.
So like the batting race, you don't have to get the needed number of at-bats. They can actually play it out, and with offers through those at-bats, if you still win the batting title, you win it.
Right. So that would be, of course, costing the hitter.
Right.
By taking the offers. But the pitcher would be different because you don't know how many runs he would have given up in those extra innings.
Exactly right.
But anyway, he's not going to make 162 innings, so it's a moot point. Grounded at third, Lowry throws on the run. Good play. 1 out.
Looking for games on certain days of the week with giveaways, favorite rivalries, or maybe a little of each? With the Astros 14-game flex plan, you get to pick the games and seat locations that work best for you. Purchase your 14-game flex plan today by visiting astros.com/tickets, or you can call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Season tickets for 2016 now being sold, and you get postseason options for 2015 in the mix. Nick Ahmed is 0 for 3. He reached on an error. Inside for ball one. Royals beat the Blue Jays 7-6 in Toronto. Yordany Ventura the winner, beating Mark Lowe. Greg Holland got his 23rd save. Josh Donaldson hit his 26th homer. That's foul back, and there were 2 home runs by Jose Bautista, giving him 23.
Brownie, I don't know what you think you're doing, but I've got a lot of fans on Twitter pointing fingers at me right about now. So it's all your fault.
For what? Because you got to call the Hank Conger Grand Slam?
No, not for that, but for being that guy that Julia was talking about. It's way off base.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to give you some props, pal.
Well, that's good. That's good, and I'll thank you sometime tomorrow.
That's not it.
I can't jump ahead. Julia's the only one that can disclose the answer.
I have a stat for you and Julia.
Yeah.
Out to shortstop, Correa. 2 down. Strong throw.
Well, he's got a good arm. And he does tend to come right up there on the top and just go ahead and let it fly. Nothing wrong with that. Doesn't have a long arm swing. He just brings the ball up there behind the ear, and much like a catcher throwing to second base, puts it on the money.
Now Jake Lamb will be the batter. He took over from Paul Goldschmidt, who was 0 for 3. So Goldschmidt's hitting streak ends at 12, and his hitting streak against the Astros ends at 13. Lamb at 276 with 3 homers, has 23 runs batted in. He had a homer last night, drove in 2, and he played third base. Okay, here is the stat for you guys. We were wondering about number 9 hitters for the Astros. Who has had a better game batting ninth for the Astros than Hank Conger tonight? 2 homers, 5 runs batted in for Hank.
Wow.
Jed Lowry's underneath this one, and he's called off by Rasmus. It's a 1-2-3 8th inning. We go to the bottom half with the Astros up 9-2.
What a play. We've had a few of those. We've had more than a few of those tonight. Starting with a home run of Carlos Correa back in the first inning. That got the Astros on the board. Hank Conger got into the fray as he hit a solo job in the third inning. Conger then showing off, hit a grand slam in the fourth inning as the Astros put 5 on the board, and then 2 more runs. 6th inning home run by Carlos Correa. Each of those guys, Correa and Conger, with 2 home runs tonight. Quite a night with the big fly bats.
Can he come up with something here? Ball 1 to Conger. 16 runs the last 3 games, 15 by homers for the Astros. Conger's hit 2 tonight, including a grand slam, the first of his major league career. It's his first multi-home run game. We thank Steve Grant and the Astros Media Relations Department for researching our question. When's the last time an Astros number 9 hitter had a better game than this? 1966. This
no way.
Shock you.
Wait, Roger Metzger?
No, it was a pitcher.
Oh my goodness.
6 runs batted in a game, 1966, from the 9 spot. Dave Justin.
Wow. The homer in that game?
We don't have any more information than that, but here's guessing that he did.
I thought you were divining things.
No.
I think she is.
There's a happy moment.
She loves grand slams.
Still 2-2 to Hank Conger. Phillies lead the Braves 12-2 in Philadelphia. They're in the top of the 9th inning. Freddie Galvis has homered for Philadelphia. Nick Markakis hit number 2 for Atlanta. Aaron Nola, the rookie for the Phillies, went 5 innings, giving up 2 runs. He's one of their best prospects. Out into left center field. Conger gets a 3rd hit. Big night for Hank Conger. 3 for 4.
Come get behind the scenes, behind the scenes look at Minute Maid Park. Learn all about the ballpark by visiting areas like the historic Union Station, luxury suites, the Diamond Club, and much more. For more information, visit Astros.com/tours or you call 713-259-8996 to schedule your tour today.
Wow. This was 3 hours before the game today, we're told. Jose Altuve's 1 for 4. That's strike 1. Yeah, we're getting a lot of those answers. Alan Ashby.
Yeah. See, you're all powerful. But do you know how many Grand Slam opportunities the Astros had before tonight without hitting one this year?
422.
Not quite that many. A little shy of that figure. 67 times the Astros had them loaded for somebody this year.
67?
And no Grand Slams until one Hank Conger came up with the slam of the night.
Well, they had a .250 team batting average with the bases loaded. Great time for a player. 4 runs batted in with 1 swing. That skips by the catcher. And a wild pitch will get Conger to second base. Conger came into this game with 6 homers, 15 runs batted in. And he has 2 homers, 5 runs batted in this one game. Two balls and strike on Altuve. Cubs 4, Brewers 1. They're in the bottom of the 9th in Milwaukee. Diving play by the 3rd sacker Hill. The throw is a good one. 1 out. Julia?
Hey guys, it's time to name that Astro, don't you think?
Yeah, get it over with.
Oh, come on, Ash. Who is this Astro? Yeah. Hey!
Looked like a little consternation going on right about there.
That's a great photo.
Yeah.
Julia, do you know what his nickname was?
Oh, please. Please.
What was it?
Well, you guys had it on the air. You just don't want to say it. You don't want to say it, do you? All right.
No, not how you do it.
I don't want to hear it.
Nope, we can't say it. We can't say it on the air.
Thanks, Julia, for
Carlos Gomez. Quick single. Here's Conger coming to the plate. Inciarte with the throw. On a bounce. Conger is out. He wants it reviewed, it looks like, maybe, but he seemed to come to a grinding halt there as he slid.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I didn't see an out there happening, but it was an odd slide. And it's a very unusual time if the Astros were to actually question this, but they're going to. I guess you try to score every run you can, get every RBI. I don't know.
Well, that would make it 10-2 if the run counted. And his foot got caught there in the dirt.
You know what? That was a good call. I will hand it off to C.B. Buckner for making a good one there.
So you may be wondering, why would A.J. use the manager's challenge? Well, there's a matter of an RBI here.
Yeah.
And is it significant to go up by 8 instead of 7? Well, strange things can happen in baseball. It is the 8th inning. It's a long shot that a team could come back from that.
Yeah, I think Hank Conger, who asked his manager to check this one, probably should realize that he got stuck in the tar pit there coming into home plate.
Front foot got jammed in the dirt.
Yeah.
Right there.
Sometimes catchers block the plate, and sometimes it's not necessary.
Play going from 8-2 on the strong throw by Inciarte.
Not sure why this is taking so long in New York. Thought that was a good call. Fans reacted, but I don't think on the view they had up on the big board that they could actually see home plate.
Some people would say, well, what are you doing? You're trying to rub it in here. But I'm sure that's not the way AJ is looking at it. First of all, his player asked for a review, so manager likes to stand up for his players' opinions.
I bet AJ feels a bit sheepish about this one, but I think you made the point that guys want to pick up their RBIs when they're legit.
Right. And especially Conger, if he's called out, he would feel responsible that he did not get home for an RBI for Gomez.
Yeah, that's true. And by the way, speaking of Carlos Gomez, 3 hits on the night now as he kind of gets the shackles off and starts to let it fly for the club. There's your tag on the left. It's all synced up. There has been no contact with the plate. And
what would be your instructional advice for a player sliding to avoid that foot getting stuck before it gets to home plate?
We were always taught, and I never seemed to figure it out. I could do it in spring training over and over, and then I'd get in the season and do otherwise. Throw both hands in the air. It tends to make your upper body fall backwards, and then you don't get your cleats caught, and you just slide better. You don't hurt a wrist as you stick it in the ground, and it just makes everything better. And again, I don't comprehend why this is going on in New York like this.
So the front leg should be extended straight out and kept above the ground, right?
Yes. Yeah, and again, if you throw both hands in the air, you tend to kind of throw enough weight backwards that both feet will be a bit airborne.
The out call is upheld. Score remains 9-2. Outfield assist for Inciarte.
I don't know, fans at the ballpark don't like that call. Somehow they must have missed what we saw.
Carlos Correa has hit a pair of homers tonight. What a start to his career. 301, 12 homers, 32 runs batted in. This is game number 46. That is a good RBI pace. Correa takes it. It's ball 1. Seattle leads 2-1 at Minnesota. They're in the top of the 9th now. In for a strike. That makes it 1-1. Texas has the lead 5-3 at the end of 6 over San Francisco. Well, McCutchen had a 3-home run game back in 2009 as a rookie. In tight. 2-2. Cliff Johnson, before Jason Castro did it with 3-run homers on consecutive nights, is the only other Astros catcher in history to have at least 2 homers and 6 runs batted in over a 2-game span. Well, Conger has 2 and 5 in this 1-game span.
And Conger with an earlier slide. This is not tonight, a couple of months ago. And Hank really does a heck of a job there. You can see, though, he did get that left hand wrist down in the ground, and a lot of times you can kind of jam that wrist a little bit, but it does get tricky when you're trying to slide around somebody and come back to the plate. But at least the cleats did not get caught that time, and it was a good slide from Hank. And I think I got my focus kind of on the hands. Right leg was nice and straight coming in.
Up the right field line and foul.
Oh, is this young man good? That looks like a line drive from a power hitting left-hand hitter. Just stays on the baseball and hangs it out. When you do that sort of thing on a semi-consistent basis, and that was close, got a chance to be one of the real special hitters. That's what I think I'm seeing in this young Carlos Correa.
He takes, and it's a full count to Carlos. Since he came up June 8th to the majors, he leads all Astros hitters in runs batted in, hits, doubles, and homers. Gomez will go on 3-2. There's a shot to right field. Caught. And Peralta's there for out number 3. No runs, 2 hits, and a man left. We move to the 9th. 9-2 Houston. Is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. The wind is howling out there.
Man, that is I think that Ferris wheel is a little beyond my likes.
Seek shelter immediately, folks. Vince Velasquez comes out for the 9th inning. Oscar Hernandez will come up to pinch hit for Wellington Castillo. Meanwhile, in Arlington, Texas, where it's 90 degrees, it's Rangers 5, Giants 4. Lovely time of the evening. Cole Hamels just gave up a home run to Buster Posey. Does the Giants do within 1?
Does the ball carry there in Arlington?
It does carry. Yes, it does. Not as well
so
as
it's
it did.
Hot and the ball carries. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying these are ideal pitching conditions? Right?
I think it's nice right here, and I think Dallas Keuchel might agree.
Oscar Hernandez gets it going in the 9th against Vince Velasquez. 2 hits tonight for Arizona, both of them in the 2nd inning. Since then, they have had 1 base runner on an error. Velasquez has retired 5 in a row. Josh Fields worked 1/3 of an inning, allowing no hits, no runs, with no walks, no strikeouts. It's strike 2. So the Astros have a shot at winning the series. They lost last night. It's looking like a rubber game tomorrow, to be decided by Colin McHugh and Robbie Ray. In the air, and the left field corner will be busy. That one's just foul. Colby Rasmus came over, and the fans wind up with it.
What happened on that play?
Well, Colby pulled up, and the ball bounced up into the seats.
Yeah. I'd like to see that one again.
Okay. Let's see if we can arrange that.
It struck me odd that Colby pulled up when he did.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just that dangerous area, and then you take into consideration the 9-2
right.
Astros lead. I don't know.
Right. Yeah, that sounds like you have it there. That goes back out of play by Oscar Hernandez.
Let's see what we can see. I mean, Colby is one of those all-out outfielders. And so to see him just kind of jog into that point, surprising, but maybe advisable to not get hurt right there.
Oh, definitely advisable. It's 1-2 to Hernandez, who was a Rule 5 draft choice from Tampa Bay. It's hard to carry a Rule 5 catcher on a major league roster, but Arizona's doing it. They have 2 other catchers. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Not heard yet who the Rangers starters will be for that 3-game series starting Monday night in Arlington. In Robbie Ray, the left-hander formerly with Detroit, the Astros will be facing somebody with a 2.70 ERA tomorrow. Fouled.
This at bat looked really overmatched early on. The first couple of pitches, I thought Vince Velasquez just had a little too much stuff, but all of a sudden kind of gone the other way. It's turned into a tough at bat as Hernandez is settled in.
Three and two.
See how close this fastball actually was. That's really close.
Still a full count as that one goes back into the seats. In Keuchel's corner, it's a sea of orange tonight.
A bearded sea of orange.
Yeah. We see a lot more orange than we did that first night of Keuchel's corner. They've gotten a strong outing from Dallas every single time since Keuchel's corner began. Back behind the plate. Conger didn't pick it up right away. Still 3-2. Baltimore beat Detroit 6-2. The Orioles are now 3 games above 500, while the Tigers are 4 games below. Kevin Gossman was the winner, beating Anibal Sanchez. Manny Machado hit another one. He has 23 now.
That kid's pretty good too.
He is good. Ball 4 puts Hernandez on. First base runner allowed by Velasquez.
Stay tuned after our game as the studio crew breaks down all the action from tonight's game, plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more on the Astros postgame show presented by Houston Methodist.
Aaron Hill is 1 for 3. He singled and scored in the 2-run second for Arizona. That is strike 1 for Vince Velasquez. Dallas Keuchel will go to 13 wins this season. Tops in the American League. Colin McHugh has a shot at number 13 tomorrow. Felix Hernandez has 12. 1 ball and 1 strike. Colin came to the Italian American Sports Foundation luncheon today to give out some scholarships. And he sat next to Larry Durker. We were talking about complete games.
Get anything spilled on him?
No. He survived Sluggo today quite well. And that in itself is a story, right?
Yes, it is.
1 and 2. So we were talking about the fact that Larry Dierker had 20 complete games one year. Think we'll ever see anything like that again?
Those were the days, Brownie.
Yeah. Wonder what his pitch count was.
I don't think anybody took much notice.
No.
Probably told him he needed to go pitch some winter ball to get his arm in full shape.
Ooh, that's a rocket. That one had a booster on it, Ash.
Haven't seen that 96 to 98 kind of heater tonight from Vince Velasquez, but look how that fastball just straightens out.
Yeah.
And that's where you get hitters to swing under. Watch the bat under the ball. Most pitchers have some fall off on the fastball. That fastball, like Lance McCullers, just bores in there.
Really did. David Peralta's the batter. He took over in right field for Yasmani Tomas. There's a late swing at a 94-mile-per-hour pitch. Strike one. Peralta was in left field last night, and he was 3 for 5 with an RBI. Velasquez with very impressive stuff. And he's doing more with it since he arrived in the big leagues. Oh, 2, and that's the thing that I think Astros fans have really warmed to since the season began. The contributions by all the young players.
Yes. You know, I failed to mention Preston Tucker earlier, talking about some of the guys that have come on, and now Vince Velasquez. It is a much more talented team right now.
Boy, it is. 1-2. There's so much made in the month of July about trades before the deadline, but look at the young players who can contribute in the remaining 2 months.
And I'm sure some really good talent went to Milwaukee, but when you've got a shot and you can get Carlos Gomez on a team that's already in first place, you get that guy.
I don't think in Astros club history they've ever had a week like this one before the trade deadline. They had not made a late July trade since the Randy Johnson deal of any significance, and people might remember Carlos Beltran in 04, but that trade was in June.
That was striking before the iron got hot.
It was. 2-2. Sometimes the iron never gets hot. You had that problem?
Those, yeah, all the time. But those two guys that you mentioned, those were team lifters.
Yes.
On their own part.
Foul back by Peralta. Indians won, Athletics won. They're in the bottom of the 5th in Oakland. Boston beat Tampa Bay 11-7. White Sox dinged the Yankees 8-2. Yankees going to bring up one of their top pitching prospects the next few days. You know, the odd thing about the Yankees is they made one minor deal, right? They picked up a backup outfielder, but they did not get any of the major names. They're in first place. There's hardly ever been a time when they've been in first place and not made a major acquisition. Now they're calling up minor leaguers to pitch in their rotation.
They must have evaluated that their talent on hand right now is good enough to win that division, and maybe to go beyond that, because it used to always be said about the Yankees, it's not about winning the division, it's about winning the World Series.
Good point. Yeah, it's just a totally different feel for this Yankee club.
Of course, the boss is not the boss anymore, but I think the mentality carries over.
36,602 tickets sold for tonight. The Astros shooting for a 3-game lead going into tomorrow. Strike 3. 2 outs. Third strikeout for Velasquez.
That was not anger about the call. That was anger about just freezing on a pitch that was right there. Outside edge. Or right down the middle, excuse me. Saw Conger reach back to his left.
This would be 7 no-hit innings to wrap it up if Velasquez gets Saltalamacchia. Club Astros may be opening soon. Saltalamacchia 1 for 3, an RBI single. George Springer has not turned on the smoke machine yet, though. There's strike one.
Is he responsible?
That's what people say, but we're not allowed in, so that would just be sheer speculation, Ash.
If I were going to start up a party somewhere, George would be the man to get it started.
Foul back. 0-2. Well, the media is not allowed in the clubhouse right away after games. There's a few minutes. And it usually happens that A.J. Hinch addresses the media in the press conference room across the hallway from the clubhouse. So after that, the media comes in, and they're still trying to clear the smoke away from the clubhouse when the media arrives. Fans are standing, and Velasquez gets a fly ball. Lowry and Rasmus. Rasmus has it to end the game. The Astros pitching staff gets together on a 2-hitter. Keuchel, Fields, and Velasquez. No Arizona hits for the last 7 innings. Keuchel goes to 13-5 and 10-0 at home. First Astros pitcher ever to start a season 10-0 at home. Conger hits 2 homers. The Astros win it 9-2.